What's up, guys? It's your boy Milan Miguel back at it again with another video. Today, I have a special guest with me, and I'll be doing a Serie A 2021-20 preseason review. So basically, this is just basically going to be our predictions for the Serie A season, top six, top goal scorer, and we'll talk about transfer rumors and all that good stuff. So without further ado, I will introduce my guest, which is Ricky Buzz.
Yo, what's
Welcome
going
to the show. How you doing,
on,
man?
guys? How are you doing, Miguel?
I'm pretty good. Just it seems like it's crazy that Serie A is about to start again. It feels like not so long ago we were just raving about Serie A, and here we are with another season under our belt.
Yeah, pretty crazy, and also transfer market as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. The transfer market has been bizarre. Very various interesting deals that have been completed, and also very interesting rumors that are still in the mill right now. Especially with the fact that the transfer window will not close until October, meaning that players can join different teams through. It's definitely going to be a very interesting Serie A season this season.
Yeah, they still have two to 3 weeks to still make deals, so hopefully Inter can still do some good deals.
Well, what would you rate the best signing for Inter right now so far?
Probably Hakimi.
Hakimi, yeah, definitely a good one.
And then for AC Milan,
Oh, definitely Sandro Tonali.
yeah, that's one that's just like, really? Because it had been reported that Inter were on him for months, and then within a week, I think interest dropped because Conte wants to go for Vidal, and
Yeah,
y'all guys get him. Which also we could talk about too, because before this there was controversy about after the Europa League final whether Antonio Conte was going to go or not,
hmm
especially because there was rife between him and the board. So he ended
oh
up
yeah,
staying, and with this we end up seeing like we're going for Vidal, we're going for Kolarov, or we've signed Kolarov. So we've signed two older players as opposed to going for what Kambella from Hellas Verona.
yeah. I can't believe that you guys let Kumbula go away.
Yeah, and brought in Kolarov, which I didn't think was going to happen, but it's what Antonio Conte wants.
That is true. I think Kolarov is still a very much quality signing for Inter. He has that Serie A experience, and he's definitely able to give you something off the set pieces that
Yeah,
he's very capable of. So I feel like it's still a good addition to the team, despite his age and him being old. He can definitely, benefit the team. Just hopefully he doesn't get injured throughout the season.
yeah, as well as a mix of young and old as well, which is what Antonio
Right,
Conte can bring into the squad.
right. Well, without further ado, we're going to do a quick recap of last Serie A season. We're just going to go over the table, and then we're going to discuss basically our predictions for this season. So last season, we had an interesting title race for Serie A. We had Juve in first place, winning their 10th consecutive Scudetto with 83 points. Then we had Inter chasing the pack with 82 points. Then we had Atalanta, the bad boys of Bergamo, with 78 points. And then we had Lazio, the underdogs who nobody even thought would qualify for Champions League, in fourth place with 78 points. Then we had Roma in fifth place with 70 points, Milan in sixth with 66 points. Now, Ricky, I must say, what are your predictions for this season for top six, first through six?
For top six, well, yeah, I guess you'd have to look at each team and take away
Mm-hmm.
and break down each team. Uh,
Right.
my personal prediction, I would like to see Inter win, so I'm just going to be biased as hell and say Inter first.
Okay.
Is Lieutenant Conte is going to go for it with the signings and reports of other signings that he's trying to go for. Is he's trying to bring experience in and go for the Scudetto this season,
Right.
as well as also the return of Rajan Angolan, which we're not sure if he's going to stay or go. But if he
Yeah.
stays, that's another quality midfielder to keep in, so we have enough to rotate. And then we also have Hakimi on the right hand side. So another person that can whip in crosses in the box as well. So I would go Inter first, and then second Juventus because Andre Pirlo's coach. I mean, I get it. It's Juventus. They have the DNA, but I'm seeing how he might try and change stuff. It might not work. As well as also their midfield. Arthur is just coming into this league. And they also have
Right.
the American McKinney is also
Right.
coming in.
Right.
So it's going to take time for them to gel.
Mhm.
Third, I'd say Atalanta. I can see
Okay.
Gasperini just slotting in a few players and just kicking on as usual.
Right.
And fourth, I'm not sure. I have it between Lazio or Napoli, one of the two.
Mhm.
Fifth, I see Milan again. Maybe
Mhm.
they could probably do something in the Europa League.
Right.
Sixth, AS Roma.
AS Roma 6.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Our predictions are kind of similar, but not really similar. For me, I had Juventus in first place. Um, again, Juve has that DNA to win. I don't know how they managed to win the Scudetto last season, but they managed to win it by 1 point. But I think because they didn't lose that core to their midfield, or they didn't lose the core of their team. Sure, they got rid of players like Matuidi and Higuain, but that's not too much for them to lose their entire core. Um, and like you said, they added Weston McKennie and Arthur, and they also have Kulusevski, who was on loan at Parma. So that's really going to boost their midfield and their attacking output for the team. So I think that they're in it for another season. I think this might be their last season winning a Scudetto, and then they might have their downfall because, as you know, most of the players that Juventus have are old. They're 34, 35, nearing retirement. Second place, I have Atalanta. Atalanta just seem to have this attacking mentality that Gasperini has emplaced in them. And again, they signed Marinchuk from Russia, and they also signed Pasalic from Chelsea on a permanent. Um, again, Atalanta has kept the core of their team. They still have Duvan Zapata. They still have Luis Muriel. They have Ilicic. They have mostly the same team that they had last year, and they have the quality to go back for it again. I think what really messed up Atalanta last season was the fact that we were playing so many games, and they still had the Champions League. So I guess you can say they were a bit distracted. But hopefully they don't have to deal with that, and they're not playing a game. They're not playing 2 to 3 games every week, so they can compete once again. Third place, I had Inter. I think Inter has strengthened. Again, with the signings of Achraf Hakimi, they got rid of Mauro Icardi. They have Kolarov coming in from Roma. They also have Perisic returning from Bayern Munich.
And Sanchez as well.
Right. They have Alexis Sanchez. They have Raja Nainggolan. And they're also keeping Lautaro Martinez, who is rumored to leave. So that's definitely very good for their team. And if they can, I think Inter's problem is just the consistency. You had a lot of games last season where they were winning, and in the last 20, 30 minutes of the game, they put their foot off the gas and it came back to haunt them. Last year, I had Inter actually winning the Scudetto. People called me crazy for it, but they could have did it had they kept their foot on the gas, but they didn't do it. So that's really what cost them. But I think Inter can definitely be back in the top 4 race. They played really well. They made it to the Europa League final. So, yeah, I think they are definitely ready to do some damage. Fourth place, I have Milan. Milan did a lot in the transfer window. They added Sandro Tonali, Brahim Diaz, Rebic, Kalulu, Kier. They signed another goalkeeper. They have Pierre Kalulu, Salamakers. They got rid of Bonaventura, Biglia, Andre Silva, Ricardo Rodriguez, Pepe Reina, and even Suso. A lot of the dead weight, a lot of the players who were not really playing and were on expensive wages have gone out the door. And it's a new Milan. I think it's very important because they re-signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic, will be basically the leader of this team. They supposedly there's a contract renewal for Gigio Donnarumma soon. So yeah, they have this core of these very talented young players, and they also have the guidance of Ibra. And I think Ibra, as you can see, when he came in January for Milan, he changed the whole trajectory of this team, and we managed to go from 9th to 5th. So I think having Ibra from the start of the season might give Milan that kick in the butt so that they don't have a terrible start to the season as they've done in previous years. For 5th place, I have Lazio. I think Lazio will come in 5th because although they haven't made many signings, they still have a quality team. Their problem is depth. As you can see last season, the depth is what cost them, and that really made them lose that title race that they had. They were in contention for that. So yeah, I have Lazio as 5th. Additionally, I have Napoli or Roma. I can't really tell who's going to take that 6th place spot. Napoli added Victor Osimhen, and they have Andrea Petagna, and they also bought Laborca. But the problem is Roma don't have Nicolo Zaniolo. They just sold Florenzi to PSG. They lost Patrick Schick to Leverkusen. And supposedly they're signing Marsh Kumbola, which would definitely be a great addition for them. And then we have Milik, who might join as well because Napoli don't want him anymore because they signed Petagna. And then we have Mkhitaryan on a permanent, Pedro from Chelsea, and they sold Kolarov. They didn't sign Smalling on a permanent. Yeah. So there's a bit of questions for Roma and their team. It's still not, quite as gelled as they would want it to be, but we'll see what really happens. We have a question here from BD Core Football TV, and he says, thoughts on Eriksson. Ricky, I'm going to let you hold this one because you're an Inter fan.
He's a quality player. Conte just needs to either utilize him or get him to work around like whatever formation he's trying to implement. That's actually one thing I was going to touch on after you're done with your prediction.
Okay, perfect. That's my top 6 prediction. I think right now Napoli has the upper hand on Roma, but since the transfer window isn't really done, we don't know what's going to happen with the supposed rumor that Kumbola and Milik will be joining Roma. I think that'll strengthen their side a bit. And if they can add a couple more signings before the window closes, I think they can solidify that 6th place spot.
Yeah.
We have another question from BD Core Football TV, and he says, thoughts on who will be the better Milan side?
I'd say Inter.
Hey.
We're going to do the double over you this season again.
Mm-hmm. I think both Milan sides have a shot. It's just going to be about who wants it more, honestly, because both teams have strengthened. They have quality in both teams. Obviously, Inter look better on paper than Milan, but as you can see, Milan were able to do a bunch of damage towards the end of the Serie A season. They beat Huvei, they beat Lazio, they beat Roma, they beat basically every top 4 team. They managed to pull out a draw from Atalanta. They pulled out a draw against Napoli. So honestly, anything is possible. It's just going to be down to who wants it more.
Yeah, just like the 4-2 match in the second half of the season.
Right. We got another question. Can Pierlo help Huvei win the Champions League? Ooh, this is a tough one. In my opinion, he could possibly help them because he was there when I think Huvei made the Champions League final back in 2015. So he could possibly get that philosophy or that mindset mentality that, we are here to try to win the Champions League instilled into them. And obviously, many players look up to Andrea Pirlo. He's won the World Cup. He's won the Champions League. He's pretty much won every trophy that can be won as a football athlete. The main thing is, will these players trust the system, and will they learn to play the way that he wants to play? I'm hearing stuff about him wanting to play possession football, counter-attacking football, 4-3-3. So we really don't know what's going to happen. But hopefully the players do gel under him. And personally, though I hate Juventus as a club, it would be nice to see Cristiano Ronaldo win a Champions League with Juventus before he goes into retirement. Ricky, what are your thoughts?
I think maybe, but I have a feeling their defense is going to let them down. Since they haven't brought in any reinforcements, it looks like it's the same back line. Sandro,
Yep.
Chiellini, Bonucci. I have a feeling
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
Especially with the Chilio on the right and Danilo. That's not good enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, he can maybe. I'm just going to say maybe.
Yeah, honestly, if you really think about it, I think that this was Juventus's year to win that Champions League. They had an easy route. They had Lyon, which they bottled the first leg. They bottled the second leg. And of course, the penalty call was unfair, but they also got a penalty back. Had they done that, they would have had an easy route to the Champions League final. They would have just had to beat Leipzig, and then they would have made it to the final. But they bottled it, and that's just not good enough.
Yeah.
We have another question. AS Roma and Lazio will bottle this season. Yeah, I think I touched up on that earlier. With Roma, they just haven't made any signings to solidify their team. The additions of Pedro and Henrik Mkhitaryan they're okay, but they're not world-class players that are gonna help you get to top four. So yeah, it looks like they might be heading to Europa League. For Lazio, the problem with Lazio is depth. If they can't keep their players out of that injury room, they definitely are just screwed because they don't have any depth to cover their backs when everybody's injured. And as we saw last season, they were the favorites to win the Scudetto after half of the season. And it came back from the break and they just completely looked discombobulated. They had no coerciveness. They had no chemistry. It seemed like Immobile was trying to do everything on his own. The players were just tired and weary. It just wasn't a good look for Lazio. So I'm hoping they learned from last season because it was definitely entertaining to see Lazio competing with Huvei for most of the season. But it was disappointing to see that they dropped off simply because they didn't have depth and they didn't have people to play for their team.
I think it's better. There's no clear plan for
Inter. BD Core says AC Milan, I think, is better. There's no clear plan for Inter. What do you have to say about that for Conte's plan for Inter?
I don't know. All I know is that, I guess he's trying to put all his eggs in this basket for this one, which, while I understand, there is no clear plan, I guess, in going forward, because we do still have a bunch of players that are, mid to late 20s, early 30s.
Right.
And we've missed out on I saw a report on Twitter. We've missed out on 4 young players. We switched AS Roma for Zanola, for Nangolan,
Right.
Tonali, Kumbella, Kolovetsky of Parma, and then
Yeah.
Kumbella of Hellas Verona. Because reports are we're going for Darmian instead. So, I mean,
How would you feel as Darmian coming into this Inter side? Would you be yay or nay for that?
I wouldn't hate it, but
Mm-hmm.
not like what I expected. I expected like better.
Fair enough.
Even with the reports too that Diego Godin's leaving or might be going to Calgary, which doesn't make sense given the fact we basically brought in a dude who's won the Europa League, who's won La Liga,
Right.
a really good defender. He
Mm-hmm.
scored in the Europa League final to make it 2-2. Now we're basically just
Right.
let him go. So that's pretty strange.
We have another question from BD Core Football TV, and he says, "How long will it take until a Serie A side reaches the final of the Champions League or wins it?" Personally, I think within the next 5 years, a
Yeah.
Serie A team will make it to the final. I think Atalanta really had their chance to make it to the final this year, and they bottled it because they were gassed. They played. I think Serie A was the last league to finish. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they played 3 games a week, and then they had to come back for the Champions League, and they thought that they had it. But that's how it is in the Champions League. You got to fight to that final whistle, and they didn't, and it cost them, and they crashed out of the Champions League sadly. As for other Serie A teams, I think Juventus, if they can add, to their team and fix up their defense, they definitely could make it to a final, possibly even win it. They have Cristiano Ronaldo, who is that next level player who can do that, but he needs help. He can't do it all by himself.
They need to help the two of them out.
Exactly. It's the defense and the attack. The midfield seems to be getting better because they got rid of some dead weight. They're trying to offload Khedira, who doesn't really play. There's rumors that Aaron Ramsey might also leave because it's not working out for him. But we'll see what happens. In my opinion, Inter could possibly make it to a Champions League final within the next couple of years if they continue to grow with what they have. They have quality young players. They have superstars like Lautaro and Lukaku, Nicolo Barella, Bastoni. Like, those are young prospects who can definitely lead this team to do right. And Hakimi. They have these players that can lead these players to big things, but again, you have to buy in and you have to fight to win. You can't just take your foot off the pedal like they've done in previous years. Who else could be a Champions League final contender? Napoli could be if they strengthen up a little bit. They have the defense. The defense isn't terrible. It's that midfield and that attack. They have Dries Mertens, which is great, but Dries Mertens isn't that top tier level player. And I hope Victor Osimhen definitely helps out with the goal scoring. So I think like anybody in that top 4, top 5, top 6 could possibly make a Champions League final within the next 5 years if they just continue strengthening, honestly.
Yeah. I can see Bayern Munich winning it 2 more times.
Bayern is definitely a powerhouse, and I don't think anybody's going to beat them soon because their players aren't too old, and they have a bunch of prospects that can be used throughout the years. You look at Alfonso Davies, and that man is just wow. Like, they got him from the Whitecaps Vancouver FC and the MLS, and they just turned this dude into a next level player. Sure, his defense isn't the best, but you can see that boy fights when he's on defense. And when it comes to that counterattack, yeah, he's very quick. When it comes to that counterattack, He knows how to execute. He makes smart decisions, smart passes, smart cuts into the box. So yeah, Bayern can possibly be winning the next 3 Champions League, honestly.
Who's more likely to win a Champions League very soon, Barcelona or Juventus?
I think neither.
Yeah, I fear
Barcelona.
Barcelona with Messi
Hmm.
leaving them. I fear that they're going to go on a huge decline.
Oh yeah, definitely. The problem with Barcelona is, one, they're holding Messi against his will. Messi already came out to say he wanted to leave since
Yeah,
the start of last season, and they're holding him against his will. So he's going to be there for another year. Then his contract is going to expire. Probably going to go to Man City to reunite with Pep Guardiola, and then try to win a Champions League there. But then you just look at the rest of Barcelona. It's just in shambles. They have a bunch of old dead weight, Busquets, Piqué. Um, they have other dead weight that sits on the bench and does nothing. For example, Umtiti, Dembele. Um, and I'm not saying those players are poor, but they're injury prone, and they just they can't do all of that. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, Juventus needs to fix up that defense, get better quality younger players for that defense, and maybe they honestly can do it. Definitely.
yeah.
We got another question here. Who's
Better,
better,
sure,
Handanovic or Donnarumma? What's your take?
Handanovic. I can see like Donnarumma. There are certain aspects of Donnarumma's game that could be improved.
Hmm.
Make him like top prospect.
I think for me, Donnarumma, when it comes to Donnarumma, like making natural saves or like just off the spot, like off the top of his head by instinct, he's very good. But when it comes to him thinking critically about the decisions that he has to make, and he kind of like freezes up a bit and he's hesitant, and that's what causes him to make mistakes. Um, if you've seen some of Milan games, he's pulled off some amazing saves that are just reflex saves. But when it comes to, a corner kick, he might think, oh, I'm going to go out to catch the ball, and he misses it, and it might end up in a goal. So I'd say Handanovic because he's more experienced and he doesn't make as many mistakes. And as we saw last season when Handanovic got injured and Padelli filled in for him, how badly that affected Inter. Um, when Donnarumma got injured earlier in the season, we had Pepe Reina filling the sticks. And again, when he got injured towards the second half of the season, we had Begovic fill in, and it wasn't that big of a, oh, we're missing Donnarumma type of thing. So yeah, I'll give it to Handanovic. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We got another who's better question. We have Hakimi or Theo. Personally, I'm gonna go with Hakimi because Hakimi seems to be better defensively, and Hakimi has just had way more experience compared to Theo. Yes, they both were at Real Madrid, but Theo wasn't playing and Hakimi was. And then after that, Hakimi went out to Dortmund for 2 years, and basically just spruced up his game even more. And Theo's definitely getting up there. He's growing into a better player and into a better prospect day by day. But he hasn't reached his full potential yet. And I think Hakimi is on the brink of reaching his full potential. And as you can see, that wingback role that Hakimi plays, he plays it so effectively. Not just on defense, but the attacking output, the counter-attacking, the crosses, the passes. He can do it all. And I think Theo, he's capable of doing that, but he hasn't spruced it up 100%. Theo can cross, he can cut down that wing, but his efforts in the final third need a bit of sprucing up sometimes. As we saw in the first season, he scored a couple goals for Milan, but towards the second half of the season, he looked a bit rusty. And that I think that's what really differentiates Hakimi and Theo. Milinkovic says Bayern can't keep the same level of intensity. He doesn't think that Bayern will win another Champions League. What do you have to say to that, Ricky?
I would say, yeah, they could. I mean, to be fair, their league is kind of similar to PSG, but not comparing like Ligue 1 to the Bundesliga. But I mean, Bundesliga isn't really that intense, and they can pretty much cruise through it, so they don't have to try as hard. As opposed to like maybe when they're in the Champions League, they'll put all their eggs in that basket.
Right. Okay. In a Champions League final right now, who wins? Barcelona versus AC Milan.
I mean,
call me stupid.
Right now, I can see Barcelona necking it just off being the one to carry all the weight.
Right.
Like he did against Bayern Munich. Whenever he put in one cross where like four players literally didn't. Well, he had put a cross near the back post and four players literally missed it.
Right. I mean, for me, you can call me crazy, call me stupid, or whatever you want, but I'd say Milan because Barcelona currently is just in shambles. Like, there's no team chemistry. And, like, let's say there was a Champions League final right now. Like, do you really think Messi would really want to go and play it? He's being held against his will. Like, why would he want to do anything to help out the club? Like,
I mean, I'll leave next year for free, and I get to go anywhere. Might as well just go ahead and try this and give something.
That is true.
Thank you.
But I just still feel like personally, like the club just it's in shambles. We're not getting the best out of the players that we signed, the players that we paid so much money for. For example, Antoine de Griezmann, like we paid so much money for him, and he's not, making the output that he's supposed to be doing for the team, and it's not enough for them. So I'll just say Milan based off mentality, and don't sleep on Milan because they have Zlatan and they have Pioli who finds a way to get the best out of these players. Like, these players were nobodies before he came. Like, this club is literally in shambles, like losing every other game, and he's managed to get this team to be undefeated. So honestly, I just say Milan based off of their performance since, the restart of football. Go ahead and take this one, Ricky.
Is Dortmund better than Inter? In what sense? I mean, they're good at developing youth. They're real good at that. Might as well change their name to Development FC. That's pretty much what they do is they develop players and then sell them for high prices.
It's true.
But I mean, I guess as a club, yeah, their scouting is a lot better, I would say. In terms, but I mean, that's it mainly.
Very true.
So we had one on Twitter. We had a question on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the Twitter
one from Richard, but Bundesliga is not intense. I mean, Bayern Munich's the same as PSG and Juventus, where they've just walked their league so easily. And there isn't much like competition. They used to follow the model of, okay, we see a rival like Dortmund getting up, all right, we'll just take their best player. Robert Lewandowski, Matt Hummels, Mario Götze. That's what Bayern Munich would do, is they would just take them.
That's fair enough. But I'd say, although the Bundesliga doesn't have as much competition for the title, it's definitely a league where it's, I don't know, I'd kind of say like it's kind of like Serie A. Like, if you look at the second through fourth or fifth title race or the position, I think we had Leverkusen, Wolfsburg, and Mönchengladbach all in a three-way tie for that top four to solidify for Champions League. And I think Leverkusen missed out by 1 point. Kind of like Milan the last season where they missed out on Champions League by 1 point. So there's definitely that competitiveness, but the other teams just don't have enough quality to compete with Bayern because Bayern has so much money and they have quality prospects and talents that they buy from other teams, and they just use that development, and they get the best out of these players, and then they either sell them or they stay at the club and help them win titles.
Yeah, until RB Leipzig came in, injected with a bunch of money. Oh, this is the question from Richard. It says, who are the top 7 teams Juventus, Atalanta, Inter, Lazio, Milan, Napoli, and Roma has the biggest drop-off from last year, and anyone sneak in the top 6 from the outside?
You want to answer first, or you want me to answer first?
Oh, you can go first.
Okay. I think whoever will have the biggest drop off, probably Roma. Again, as I've hinted before, Roma haven't made any signings to solidify their team. If they manage to pull off Kumbulla and Milik, that'll definitely help them. For me, who can sneak into that top 6 from the outside, Sassuolo.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like they lost any of their players. And if they're able to play the same amount of football that they played last season, I think that they can definitely sneak into that top 6. Another team who possibly can sneak into that top 6 is Fiorentina. They added Sofiane Ambarat. They added Bonaventura, Milan. I think Milan Baldelj just left to Lazio. But they have Alfred Duncan. They have Kouame, who's coming off of an injury. But if they manage to keep Chiesa and Milinkovic, who both have been, rumored to go into transfer with Milan, I definitely think that they can sneak into that top 6. We have BD Core saying that Parma can shock a few. That's possible, but if you look at it this way, they've lost Dejan Kulusevski, who is a major output for their attacking force of their team. They have what's his name, Gervinho, and the other guy, Cornelius. There we go, Cornelius. 2 very good forwards in the Serie A, but I don't think they have that quality to propel them. I think it'll be just like this season, kind of what happened to Cagliari. They have a really good start on their hands, and towards the middle of the season, that burnt of not having enough quality, not having enough depth, will might come back and bite them. I just can't see them staying in top 6. Ricky, what do you think to that question about who can sneak into top 6?
Oh, no, I agree with you. I think I can see Sassuolo coming in, sneaking into the top 6. But for big, drop off, I could possibly honestly see Lazio dropping off.
I definitely agree with that. Another Twitter question we had was, can Milan qualify for Champions League this season? Again, we've kind of touched up on this. Milan's hope is to get into that top 4 and get back in the Champions League. We haven't been in the Champions League since 2013. And as you see, we placed 5th last season. And that was just off the turnaround from the second half of the season. So I think that if we bring that same fighting to win mentality, if we play the same football that we played last season, sure, we have a couple players injured. We have Leao, who's injured, Cornty. We also have Captain Romagnoli injured. But although we have those injuries, I think we still have a decently strong team. We have Kier in the back, who can definitely do it on his own. We have Zlatan Ibrahimovic leading the line, who he's won basically every trophy you can think of all over the world. He's definitely not going to play around, except the Champions League. Yes, except Champions League, but he's not going to let these players just half-ass whatever they do on the pitch, because they know if they half-ass it, there's going to be consequences at training. So yeah, I definitely think Milan can do it, especially with adding Sandro Tonali and hopefully Bakayoko. I feel like Milan's not, worried about rushing a deal right now because there's plenty of time. The transfer window doesn't shut for another month. So I think, yeah, Milan can definitely make it into Champions League. I think Milan needs to sign a center back. That's what they're lacking right now. If Milan can pull off Milinkovic from Fiorentina, I definitely think top four will be sealed. But as of right now, it's just up for grabs for whoever wants it, whoever plays better, whoever comes with that fight to win mentality. And again, Serie A is one of those leagues. Yeah, it may not be a different team for the Scudetto every season, but that race for top four definitely always changes. We saw Roma in there, we saw Napoli in there, and now they're not really in there anymore. And now it's Inter and it's Atalanta and possibly AC Milan. So again, that's just how I take it. What do you think, Ricky, about Milan making top four?
I could see it possible, especially with you guys having a pretty good midfield. Bentancur, Kessie, now adding Tonali. I think maybe just a couple more defenders. Do you guys need a right back or no?
I think right back is fine right now because we have Calabria, who's been in very good form since Conte got injured. And we also signed Pierlo, who is a right back and also can play center back, but he's very young, and I think he has a lot of raw talent, and he needs maybe another year, a year and a half to develop before he can solidify a starting side on the team. But we also have Diego Shout, who can fill in at right back if needed. So, and we also have Salamakers who can play right back, but that's not really his position. But I think pretty much my worry for Milan is center back because Romagnoli is currently injured, and God forbid, but if he does get injured again, the center backs that we have in the rotation with Kier is just not strong enough to keep us for an entire season. They can fill in for a couple of games, but I don't think they have that quality to keep us winning every game like how we played before the end of the season. That's my opinion.
Okay. Who do you think out of the top four teams so far currently between Inter, Juventus, Atalanta, and Lazio, who do you think will walk away with a bit of silverware this season?
Oh, honestly, I think Lazio and Atalanta both have a chance of winning silverware. I think for Lazio and Atalanta, both teams have a good shot at winning the Coppa Italia based on whatever knockout round stages opponents they get. I think for Lazio, it might be a little bit harder because they don't have depth, and that was their problem. But with Atalanta, they have depth. They have that academy of players that can just come into the first team. They can learn how to play in Gasparini's system, and they can just run away with it just like that. So I think Atalanta is definitely hungry for silverware, especially with the fact that they crashed out of the Champions League when it really seemed like they were going to make it to the final. So yeah, I personally think Atalanta will win some type of silverware this season. And I mean, Lazio won the Supercoppa last year, so I don't really think they really need silverware. I think right now their priorities is making it out the group stage for the Champions League. So Ricky, who do you think the top goal scorer for this season will be?
I can see it being Dybala.
Yep.
Dybala in first, with second being like Immobile, and then Lukaku probably third. And maybe a
I
fourth would probably be tied between Ronaldo and somebody else.
Oh yeah, definitely. This honestly was a hard one. I was really thinking about it. Um, Part of me wants to say Mobile repeat. But then again, part of me is also like Dybala can do it because Dybala basically carried Juventus this season. Dybala and Ronaldo. Um, they helped each other out and they managed to find some type of means to get Juventus another Scudetti. So yeah, I think if Dybala comes back strong and healthy, he can definitely do it. If not, it'll be Immobile. I can't really see Ronaldo in the mix, but Ronaldo did have a huge turnaround in the second half of the season. Um, Zlatan could possibly be up there. I think he scored 10 goals this entire season, and since January till the end of the season, 10 goals for the amount of appearances that he had is phenomenal. So he could also be up there. So you never know. But for now, I'm gonna say Dybala if he comes back healthy, or Immobile. So who do you think is gonna be the MVP for this season? Last season it was Dybala.
Oof. Boy, that's a hard one.
It is a hard one. Not gonna lie.
Uh, I'm not really sure, honestly. It could be like some random player that comes out of nowhere.
It could be
Uh, I'd say Luis Alberto. I want
Luis
to.
Alberto. Okay, that's a safe choice. Not gonna lie. Um, for me, I'm going to say Lukaku for Inter. Um, I think Lukaku had a great season, his first season. I think he broke Ronaldo's record for most goals on the first season under Inter. And I think that just is going to make him more hungry because Lukaku had a lot of haters when he was coming to Inter.
Yeah.
They thought he couldn't do the job because United didn't really work out as well. But I think he's proven that he can. He still has it. He could score. He can assist. Um, can dribble past players. He's strong. He just has that quality. Um, so I really think that he can do it, and maybe he will be the MVP of the season.
Good shout.
Yeah. So let's talk transfer rumors. Are there any transfer rumors that you've heard or that you've seen or that you think might happen that you'd like to discuss?
Well, we keep seeing next 48 hours with Dow. We keep seeing
Oh
that
yeah.
one.
With that one, I think Vidal does want to join Inter, but there's just some issues with Barcelona giving him his payout before he can arrive. And again, like I said, with the transfer window not closing to October, Barcelona could just play games until October. And then when October comes around, they'll be like, okay, Vidal, you're free to go. Or they could just be like, hey, Vidal, we don't want you to go, just like they did to Messi. And he just has to stay for another year.
Yeah, but we also still need to get rid of like a few players as well. Like we have Dalbert who came back, Jean Mario who came back. There's Ivan Perisic, whether he's going to stay or go.
I think Perisic might stay. João Mario definitely needs to go. Dalbert needs to go. I think I read something about Quadro Asamoah, his
Yeah,
contract being terminated very soon.
yeah, he turned into
So
a ghost for us this season. Like it's like honestly, like no one ever brought his name up anything. Like oh, bro,
literally,
Ashley Young on the left hand side. It's like you never hear Asamoah. It's like what
right.
happened?
Yeah, so he looks like he's on his way out, especially with Kolarov joining. He probably is definitely on his way out.
Yeah. As well as I would like us to get like a backup keeper because I don't want to see another Fideli situation.
I could have sworn I saw something about Padelli renewing his contract. Is that true?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't seen anything recently. I hope it's not
I,
true.
I could have swore I saw something on Twitter about him renewing his contract, but yeah, hopefully that's not true. Anything else?
No, I think we're good. Besides, I know we're probably trying to go for Darmian. If that's still on
Yeah.
the table. And then
Well,
Vidal. I'm not sure about a backup striker, one that can replace
right,
Lukaku, because we have Sanchez for Lautaro.
right.
One.
I heard something about possibly trying to get Luka Jovic on loan from Real Madrid as a backup striker, but not so entirely sure about that. Um,
Oh yeah, Fideli.
I
Fideli did.
definitely he did.
Yep, he's gonna stay another season.
Wow, wow. So I wasn't dreaming when I saw that. So on the other hand, Milan did sign a new goalkeeper. They signed Serpian Taranescu or something like that from Serpian Tatrosanu from Olympic Lyon. Don't really know much about him, but since we let go of Begovic, his loan expired, and we let Pepe Reina go to Lazio on a free transfer. Um, I think Antonio Donnarumma is not good enough. He can fill in for Coppa Italia games, but the Europa League, I just can't see him. And if anything does happen to Donnarumma, I don't really trust Antonio Donnarumma in the sticks. So I'm glad Milan signed a backup keeper. Um, some transfer rumors that I saw that pertain to Serie A. I saw a Gume from Inter possibly being loaned out to a City B side very soon. What do you think about that?
Uh, from the handful of games, there are very few games that he's come on. He hasn't looked
Hmm.
too bad, but it looks like he needs to go out and just get more experience.
Definitely, definitely.
I would like.
Um,
I know we have a striker, Sebastian Espel. I don't know how you say his last name, Espolta, or a young
hmm.
striker. I would like to see him maybe get loaned out to a team, maybe get some experience, but I'm not sure what the plans are with that.
Right. Hello, Ahmed Hassan, Forza Milan. You know how it is. Forza Milan, both Milan sides right here.
Yeah.
Miguel here for the red and black, and we have Ricky for the blue and black. Um, Another Inter transfer, Emerson from Chelsea to Inter. There's rumors that Antonio Conte wants Emerson to join his Inter side. It seems like this is a reoccurring theme with Conte. He always wants to bring back players that he's previously worked with.
Yeah.
There was also a rumor about Marcus Alonso to Inter, but I
Kante.
think, yeah, I think these rumors should be squashed because Conte went out and got Kolarov from Roma. So why would he need Emerson or Marcus Alonso? He already
Well,
has Ashley Young. So
yeah, but also Kolarov could play. He could fill in for Bastoni because Kolarov and
right,
Bastoni are both left-footed.
right.
So he could maybe just want another winger or another
I
left.
think I think Emerson is also left-footed as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then Ashley Young's actually right-footed, but he's playing on the left, so you might want to switch that
yeah,
up.
yeah, possibly. Um, Another transfer rumor that we have is Suarez to Juve, but I heard that that won't be happening because Suarez cannot get Italian citizenship before
Yeah,
the Champions League starts. So that's kind of a bummer um, for that to be the reason why a player can't join your club because they can't get citizenship. Um, I don't really know how Suarez at Juve would have worked. but he's done it in the Premier League. He's done it in La Liga, so he could possibly do it again in Serie A. But it looks like we won't be seeing that one happening. We also have Edin Dzeko rumored to go to Juve. Now, what I'm hearing is Dzeko will not leave Roma until Roma knows that they get Arkadiusz Milik from Napoli. So with the coming days, supposedly that deal's been agreed and it should happen. So we'll see in the next couple of days, probably by the end of the week, we'll know if that deal will be happening. It'll be very weird to see Dzeko in Juve colors, but it'll kind of remind me of Mario Mandzukic. We also have Giroud to Juve. Don't really know how I feel about that one. I feel like that was just a clickbait rumor. I don't understand why Giroud would want to leave Chelsea. He's happy with his role at Chelsea.
I don't see Juventus being like a team that would need a target man.
Right. So like that one doesn't really make much sense to me, but we'll see what happens. We also have Nikola, Milinkovic, and Federico Chiesa to Milan.
How do you feel about that?
Hey, if Maldini can convince Rocco Comiso to give up these two players, I would be more than happy. I personally think that Milinkovic is the ideal center back that we need in our rotation. If we can find a way to get Milinkovic in ASAP, I'll just get that deal done because I need a quality center back. Milinkovic definitely caused some problems for a bunch of strikers in Serie A last season. He knows how to rip the ball off of these strikers. He's tall. He's kind of strong, even though he kind of seems lanky. Very great on set pieces. He can score with his head. He can even score with his feet in the box. I've seen a couple of clips of him making some shots in the box and volleys. So I think it's definitely a quality investment, and it's definitely worth every penny. So if we can get that to happen, it'd be amazing. Chiesa, would definitely be a great addition to the team because, he has his Italian teammates, Donnarumma, Calabria, Tonali. So if you would add that to the mix of our midfield and we can get rid of Paquetá, who I think we're trying to get rid of, but no real offers for him yet. So if we can get rid of Paquetá and replace him with Chiesa, I'd be all in for it. Chiesa definitely is one of those players who's talented. If he can build on his talent, he can definitely be a great player for Milan. And I think one of the things that Milan has been missing in the last decade is that Italian core. So bringing Chiesa in with Romagnoli, Donnarumma, Calabria, and Tonali, it does seem like, we have a little bit of an Italian team, and that chemistry can, take place and move forward to the Azzurri when they compete in the Euros next year. So it would be great for Chiesa to join Milan. But there's also another rumor that German Pezzala could also move to Milan because he's a cheaper option at the center back role because Rocco Comiso doesn't want to let go of Milinkovic or Chiesa. So if we're able to get Pezzala to Milan, he seems a bit more trustworthy than the other center backs that we have, and I'd be happy to, have him as an addition to the team. I watched a couple of his highlights. He seems good enough. I think Milinkovic is better, but Milinkovic will cost more money. And then the last one is Bakayoko to Milan. It seems like Bakayoko will not be playing at Chelsea. His loan at Monaco has ended, and he was not included in the official team roster with the Premier League starting earlier this week. And it says that, Milan is the only club that he wants to go to. So he's rejected a move to Crystal Palace. It's just up to the club to find that meeting ground for Bakayoko to come back to Milan. And like I said earlier, I don't think Milan are in a rush. There's still a month left in the transfer window. So probably by the end of the transfer window, something will happen. Whether it's a loan move, a loan with obligation to buy, or just a full-on cash deal or whatever. I think it'll happen. I think Milan are trying to sell two players, which would be Rade Krunic and Lucas Paquetá, and able to fund the next couple of, deals that they want to make. But we'll see how everything plays out. But yeah, I think that's all for our Serie A 2020-2021 preseason review. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Ricky, once again for joining me. And, just wishing this year of Serie A to be one of the best seasons. Last season was very entertaining. And, I just can't wait. Forza Milan for everybody. Ricky, do you have any words before we get off of this?
No, just hope the season's gonna be good.
All right. Well, you heard it here. We're hoping that we're having a great Serie A season. Forza Milan, everybody, and peace.
Peace.